Hi everyone, it's Beth and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about using images or visuals in your essays. And I'll say very quickly before I go through these two websites that the first one I will add into D2L. I hadn't provided the link for this one, but I will. And the one I'm going to show you second, I have provided the link already in D2L. But I'll just kind of show it to you so that you can use it more effectively to your advantage. And then there's another link that I'm not showing in the video, but that I mentioned in the homework that has some nice images for you to look at so you can see how to do the caption. So pretty much when you choose a visual, you need to choose one that you think is helping to make a point that it's not easy for you to make in sentences within your essay. And so you provide the visual so that you can refer to the visual very briefly within a paragraph, either right before it or right above it. It doesn't really matter which way you order it. But you are going to probably mention it a little bit within a paragraph so that readers can go and look at it more fully. And so it saves you a little bit of time and effort with the writing piece, because the writing that you add to your paragraph and the visual sort of work together. So you see the first web page that I'm looking at right now has a section that begins select visuals that are appropriate for your essay or your rhetorical situation. That just means your purpose and your audience and the writing patterns that you're using within the essay. And so you see that right underneath that first blue heading, it talks about using visuals of any kind. And you know that that was, in fact, the situation with Essay 4, that you can use a photograph that you take of your own. You might find pie charts, tables, diagrams, bar graphs, line graphs within CQ Researcher. I suggested to you that there were a lot of good images there. You probably won't find a lot of images inside Academic Search Premier because, remember, that's a database that just houses newspaper, magazine, and journal articles that have been published elsewhere. That's not to say you won't find an image in one of those articles, because of course they're coming from periodicals and there might be images in them that you can use, but probably easier to find visuals inside CQ Researcher. And then of course you can just use the web using Google Image. You could even go to Google Scholar and see if you could find images. And whatever you're searching for related to your topic, if you include the word image next to what you're searching, you might get more pictures than websites that provide more text for you to look through or read. Then you see the next section is called Some Guidelines for Using Visuals. And I'm just going to read through these with you. I know you can read them on your own time, but just to kind of talk to you about how to use visuals effectively. So you see the first bullet point talks about using the visual not as decoration. So that just isn't flair, guys. This is something that you should really tie into a body paragraph. So again, you're probably mentioning it in a body paragraph as an example very briefly because you know your reader is then going to go look at the image. And so the two things are working together. You want the visual to be very near the text where you mention it. And again, it doesn't matter if it's the paragraph before the image or the paragraph after. It doesn't matter if you wrap around the image, talk about it before or after, or you know, put your place your image to the right or the left and then the text wherever it needs to go. That part doesn't matter, but the point is you don't want your image on page 1 and then reference your image on page 3. You want them to be on the same page. Number the visuals. So you're only going to have excuse me, you're only going to have one image. So you will have to label your image figure 1, and you'll see an example of that in a second. The fourth bullet point talks about referring to the visual before it appears. Again, I've said it can become before or after. I've seen it both ways. But I like what the fourth bullet point says in terms of the quantity of text you're devoting to a body paragraph, that you want to summarize what you see in the image so then it's not overkill. You don't want to go into a lot of depth about the image because, again, the text and the image are working together. And then you definitely want a caption underneath your image that will clearly connect the image to the text that you've included in a body paragraph. And then yes, you will have to document the source. Just on the works cited page, you'll just have to have a 4th entry. So 2 database sources, 1 other web source that you found, and then your image is your 4th works cited entry. All right, so I'm going to go to another web page, and this is the Purdue OWL website. It's a very, very well-respected English reference, writing reference website for college students. And so I want you to imagine that the section labeled table example is not actually labeled this way. I want you to pretend that this is a paragraph under where it says in-text reference. You see it, that's highlighted in blue currently. And so imagine that very, it looks like it's only one sentence. Imagine that one sentence is within a body paragraph somewhere. This is the kind of summary or very brief reference to the table. The table in this case is an image. It just happens to be giving us some data. So you see this is a summary of the point that the writer wants the table to make. If the writer doesn't point out the specific statistics in this case that should be paid attention to, then the reader is looking at this table, and I can scroll down a little bit and you can see how much information is in the table that isn't clear because there's so many different statistics and whatnot, and we have to evaluate statistics and figure out what they mean. So it's really nice. I'm going to scroll back up. It's really nice that if this in-text reference is embedded within a body paragraph used as a summary example, and then you see in parentheses it says see table 1, so we get the point that we're supposed to focus on, and then we can see the table with the data more accurately represented with all the numbers. And then you see underneath the table, right at the bottom of the screen, the caption. And in this case, the caption is just identifying the source. So your caption can say that, or your caption can do something like the essay that we will start looking at in the textbook is by a writer named Philip. I'm forgetting his last name, but I know it's on page 744. And you can see that he has an image in his research essay. It's in MLA format, and there's a different caption there where he sort of describes it rather than gives documentation. So either approach is appropriate, just as long as there is a caption to kind of identify what the image is. But again, two things required: image with a caption, which you're looking at currently, and then I scroll back up, and then here's an example of how you could write a reference to the image within a body paragraph, and then document it with, see table 1 or see figure 1. Either way, I mean, figure is better for images and things that aren't actually graphs of any kind. So image is probably fine for a picture of something that you think represents your source. All right, so if you have questions, be sure to email me, and we'll look at the example in class as well on Saturday, so you'll be able to make any changes to your caption or even add a caption. Maybe if you're not sure what to do for the caption, at least put the image in your draft that's due on Saturday, and then you could handwrite the caption in class when we look at this again. All right, have a great, I'll say something else. Have a lucky time, productive time revising your report, and I'll see you guys on Saturday.